All right, welcome back, everybody. Wish I was coming to you guys with some better news, but obviously, if you're involved in the crypto markets, you've seen this kind of dramatic drop here in the last week or so. So today we're going to kind of cover overall market health, particularly focusing on Ethereum. We're going to talk some short-term price predictions, and then also just certain levels to watch out for. And then kind of what you should be watching into the midterm and then into the long term as well. So let's get started right now and kind of talk about how we ended up here. First off, just kind of want to note, obviously, that we had that high of 4,800, almost 4,900 in early November, and then from that we've actually come all the way down just over 50%. And honestly, we have seen crashes steeper than that, right? Going back to when is this? May, obviously, we had this crash of about 60%, give or take. That makes me think that we still have more to go, by the way, as well. And we'll kind of get into that here in a couple minutes. But the next thing I kind of want to touch on is obviously recently kind of what caused the breakdown. So we kind of talked about this with a few other altcoins recently, but we saw a pretty quintessential head and shoulders here. And once this level was broken, and then obviously also we saw a structure breakdown on Bitcoin. But once this level was broken, we saw this kind of dramatic fall from 3,000 all the way down to where we are right now, mid 2,400 range. So that's kind of why we are where we are right now. We're about 50%, give or take, from our high in early November, and now we have some work to do before we kind of get back. On the positive side, where we've landed here, at least for now, we still have somewhat of a bullish structure long term. I'm not saying that definitively we're in a bull market or a bear market right now. It's really up in the air. We need to see things play out here in the next few weeks. But right now, some of the key levels to watch. So obviously, at the moment, we're kind of fighting this 23.5, 2,400 level. Right now, specifically, it's fighting this previous short-term support of about 2,450. And if we don't find that, we're probably going to drop to 2350. And over the short term, that's really the level you need to be keeping your eyes on. 2350 is that next kind of key fib support. And if we don't find support there, it's really, really likely that we fall between 2,000. So about here, 2,000. And 1,730 right down here. So that's kind of the key level to be watching right now. As I said, 2350. And then we're going to watch, if we do not hold the support, we're going to watch for a fall all the way down to 1730. And this is kind of the foresight that helps you not panic sell during a time like this, right? This is not a time to, sell positions, even if you're down. Obviously not financial advice, but, this is kind of why we plan for the long term, kind of why we, dollar cost average into positions. You don't buy all at once. That prevents you from, risking buying everything at the top or selling everything when we're down here. So obviously, always need to keep a long-term mindset intact when we're looking at something like this. So if we go down, if we start really crashing, so for example, if we kind of find this, for a couple of days, don't really find the support, come back down and crash, between 2,000 and 1,700, don't be, completely shook or taken aback, right? That it is honestly built into the chart. If it happens, that's something that is definitely possible, right? So just something to keep in mind. But something that is, more so on the, bullish side, at least short term for Ethereum, is that we've actually dropped here, and I'm going to pull this up. And this might be one of the most important things we talk about in this video, but our RSI is extremely, extremely oversold, okay? So typically, we're looking between a 70 and 20 RSI. Anything above 70 is typically overbought. anything below 30 is typically oversold. And Ethereum's sitting at about 23 right now, which is extremely, extremely oversold, especially for Ethereum. So if we go back in time just a little bit and kind of make this a little bit more manageable. If we go back in time, Ethereum doesn't actually drop below the 30 mark, so below the kind of completely oversold mark. Basically, it hasn't been in that position since March of 2020. And obviously, we all know what happened after March of 2020. We had that slight dip, and then obviously a run, completely up and, essentially parabolic for Ethereum. Not saying that we're going parabolic from here, just saying that, that could signal that we are closer to a bottom than many people might think. But not to say that 1,700 or, something below 2,000 isn't possible. But it is important to point out the RSI, given that we are as oversold as we are. So kind of looking into the future here, obviously, we haven't fully broken down, and let me move this. We haven't fully broken down on our longer term bullish structure. So this kind of longer term bullish trend line that I drew before, we're not completely broken down. We won't be completely broken down from that after we drop that 1,700 mark. So if we drop 1,700, that is really, really bad. That's basically saying that we're probably not going to see something, a $4,000 Ethereum probably until next year. So we don't want to see a drop below 1,700. So it's really hard to say, obviously, but we need to kind of keep our bullish ideas at bay a little bit and kind of just focus on what's realistic right now. So going forward in the short term, obviously our kind of bullish structure that we tried to keep intact here got broken. So our short-term bullish structure that we kind of wanted to build on and go for that new all-time high above 5K, that broke down. And that's kind of why we saw that drop, right? So going from here, we need a stand on, at least in the very, very short term, we want to see a stand on 2350 right here. If we see a stand on 2350, from there, we're going to want to break this kind of key neckline of 3050. So as you can see, if we zoom in here, this is where we tried to find support on our way down previously, and we got broken there. That was that kind of bullish trend line. And so that's going to be a key level going back up. I assume that, whether we bounce off here or whether we bounce off here, coming back up and trying to break this neckline is going to be very, very difficult. We're probably going to get rejected a couple times before we break it, but just something to keep your eyes on there. And then obviously there are a lot of key levels to the upside, but talking a little bit more realistic short midterm, the next level after that 3050 level would be this 3800 level. And that would get us kind of back in shooting range for $4,000 Ethereum. And that's kind of the number that obviously, everyone was at least starting to get used to seeing. And now we kind of need to reset our expectations. So that's what I'm seeing right now. Key levels to watch, just to recap here really quick, 2350 and then 1730. We really do not want to go below 1730. It's okay to drop below 2350. Again, just to remind ourselves, we're still only from our high here in early November, we're still only 50% down to the downside. And so it's not unusual to see something more like 70 to 80%, which would have us down, below or closer to that $1,700 mark. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Obviously we want to see that break above 3050 and then the break above 3800 in the mid to longer term. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat helpful. Obviously, keep the mind as steady as you can, dollar cost average on the way down, and don't panic sell, right? Remember that nothing long-term wise has changed fundamentally about Ethereum or Bitcoin. So nothing really should change in your mindset about being bullish or bearish on Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's just this short-term price action, does bring a lot of emotion into the trading. But just remember, if you're long-term bullish on Ethereum or Bitcoin, nothing has really changed from that standpoint. But thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what other projects you'd like me to cover. But we're all in this together, and hopefully we see something to the upside here pretty shortly. Thank you, everyone.